Okay, so second time lapse, and for this one, I'll answer another question, which is how to develop your visual library towards vehicle and prop designs. And the answer for that is actually quite simple. It's just in one plain word, it's just references. But the way that I like to use references is by actually analyzing them instead of just copying it. Um, you can see a lot of artists that they just take the references and kind of like use them as study material, but just in a artistic sense. So they are copying materials, they are copying shapes and so on. But what I like to do is actually analyze the references and think of why the shapes that are there exist in that way and what's the use of it. Because when it comes to prop and vehicle design in real world, what happens more often than not is that the design needs to follow the function of that particular object. So what you end up getting, it's a is a version of that functionality that has some sort of like industrial design on top of it to try to make it more appealing to the public. But in its raw composition, its raw pieces, they are entirely function based, and that helps us to kind of get a feeling over time of how things are done and how things are made. And if you do enough research and if you look at enough objects and if you look at how factories do things, the manufacturing processes, the industrialized processes, you end up acquiring the knowledge on how to make things believable, because then you can kind of imply on your own designs how that object, not only the function of it, but how that was done in this made up world that you created. And those little hints of the manufacturing processes, that's what makes your design believable, even though it's some sort of like crazy shape and so on. So I recommend people to do that and to be very intentional about it. Don't just look at references as if they are purely image, as if they are just a photo of anything. Just try to understand how things work and how they were made and who did it and why certain shapes are done in certain ways. And that should help you again over time. So everything is it won't happen like overnight for you, but you'll build that knowledge over time, and then eventually it will show up in your designs. Yeah, so I think the main important part, both when you are doing artwork and also when you are searching for references, should be to actually pay attention to things. So I would not do reference searches while I'm looking at a YouTube video or while I'm having a chat on Discord with my friends or anything. Like that part of the process is probably the most important one. It's where you are actually thinking of ideas and so on. So you need to be 100% focused, and any distractions, they will get in your way. We have this tendency to think that we can multitask for some reason, and I find that it just hurts our productivity when you think about that. And if you're worried about producing high quality content, high quality artwork, high quality designs, this requires, at least for a certain period of time, this requires your full attention. And I would not give that up just to just to do like some mindlessly thing on the side. So yeah, if you're rendering, you can do that. If you're doing things that come more naturally, you can do that. But if you're hard set on thinking about design, improving your designs, I will take that focus as a key part of the process. Okay, so yeah, quick question, just use references. Cool. See you.